Good evening, sports fans. Welcome to round two of the Wallaby iRacing Pro League. We have got a great race lined up here at Motorsport Oschersleben. We are at a great track here where Understeer is the name of the game. And joining me here today, we have Luke Fallon. How you doing today, Luke?
I'm doing absolutely lovely, mate, and I'm ready to get into some beautiful action here tonight at this wonderful track.
Yes, it is fantastic, isn't it? We're about 5 minutes away from qualifying, and I'm excited to see what is going to happen. I'm looking forward to some of the drivers that we have here today. We had a fantastic race in round one at Winton. And Luke, can you just tell me more about the drivers that we've got here today, how they did in the previous round, and who we should expect to be at the front row in the beginning of this race?
Yeah, for sure. I think coming off the back of a strong week last week in Winton, I think Jaden Draper has a good opportunity to be looking strong here in tonight's race. Obviously, the drivers such as Joseph Parkinson, always one to look out for as he loves to be coming from the back of the grid. Ty Savilli, of course, another very, very, very fast name that we have on our grid tonight. I think they're my top three that are going to be looking very, very strong coming into tonight's race. Obviously, Oscar King as well. He is leading the championship, and then obviously followed by Jaden Draper and then Brocky Anderson in P3. So I think it's looking like a very strong grid tonight, as it always is. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting.
I agree. It's going to be a fantastic race. I really do look forward to seeing what the drivers have to bring to this circuit. Not one that many would be racing in GT3s, and I feel like we've just been watching some of them in Pracky. There have been a few little, incidents going into the wall, spinning here and there as drivers, find their feet around this place. And as we get into qualifying, we will quickly run down these corners and talk about just how deceptively tricky this track is.
Yeah, for sure. I think some info on this track would be lovely before we get dug into some lovely 15-minute qualifying session. And from my looks of it, I don't have the most amount of experience at this track, but I think you have a better experience here, Nick. But yeah, from the looks of it, it's a pretty fast-paced circuit, eh?
Yeah, I absolutely love this place, and if we go on board with one of the drivers who's going across the start-finish line, we can take ourselves through a full lap here. We've got.
Oh, that isn't the pit lane.
Let's also hope that that's the pit lane. Yeah. All right, brilliant. Let's go on board here with Chase Tippett as he is coming down the start straight here. And going into turn 1 and turn 2, this complex is called Hotel. This is a really tricky spot on the circuit. Expect to see a lot of people have a hard time as you've got to get that car to slow down inside of that first little left-hander before you go around on this right-hander. Oh, and that's the other thing as well, is getting that exit right here. You got to know when to get on the power as he is now going to just rejoin. And we will now continue on, hopefully, down to turn 3. Oh, okay. All right, well, I feel like we've kind of got our boy here a little bit on blast.
And commentator's cursing here as he's had an absolute shocker of a lap when we've been on board.
He's gone through Hustle Road there, turn through that hairpin. Now through the triple. This is another really interesting corner where you got to, figure out the throttle here. Turn 7 down here. This is one of the only corners that doesn't have a name. We love a good old no-name corner, don't we? And now we go into the chicane. It's really important that you get everything right here, and then turning right here through McDonald's, and you get on the power, go down this straight until you get down to the shell and arm curves. And this is where I reckon a lot of battles are going to be won and lost. You can have a couple of different lines through here, and I reckon you'll see some cars going side by side, jockeying for position. As you get down to the last two corners here, this sort of double right-hander complex, where you can try to pick up and keep as much speed in that first right-hander as possible, and then get this exit right, and you're back on the start-finish line again.
I think, yeah, as we see on board with our lap, obviously it wasn't the most complete lap we've seen around this track, as you see the Ferrari jumping out of the way there of our boy Tippett here, that he's currently got the third fastest lap of our session tonight, and Oscar King obviously topping the board so far as we see that black Lamborghini showing a little bit of a ballerina twirl in front of him and returning back to pits. But yeah, Oscar King, top of the board in that BMW, 122 flat he has set. Currently the fastest by 0.5 of a second, so I think that's a pretty big gap to have in practice, but like I do say, it is only practice and all the pace is in qualifying, isn't it?
Absolutely. We got 10 seconds now until qualifying begins, and without open qualifying, it's going to be interesting where people are going to have to find a spot on the circuit, and where I think, last week at Winton, where, we're an Australian league, we kind of know Winton fairly well. People not knowing this track too well might make qualifying a little bit spicy. We've got to make sure that you get out of the way, do not block any impeding cars coming through, and just try to nail as many laps as you can and get those times on the board.
Yes, for sure. That is definitely what these drivers will be going for. I just noticed there, as they were coming around, as Ty Sevilli was coming around for his ending to his practice, he seems like he's had a bit of a car switch, that man. He was in the... Oh, that's a questionable pit lane exit from Tibbet there in the McLaren. The Ferrari behind him getting it quite a bit more right. But yeah, I think we've seen a car change for Ty Sevilli early on in this season. I believe he has gone to the Merc now. There you see on the bottom right of your screen. But we will confirm that later in the session. It's a very interesting choice. Is a Merc a very, we would say, competitive car in this GT field?
I would say so. I think the Merc is looking like one of the top cars to be running in this season. It's performing very well at a lot of different tracks. Plus, you've got that German engineering at a German track. Maybe that home field advantage can play a little bit into Ty's hands. And now we got the cars coming out onto the circuit for qualifying. And as we saw here before, like the pit lane exit here is deceptively tricky, especially on those cold tires. You're going to want to make sure that you don't make any mistakes there, especially in the race. We do have a pit stop for fuel at one point. So, the last thing you want is to come out of the pit lane and accidentally botch it, put it in the wall, or get a slowdown, or it's also quite easy to get a black flag for an unsafe pit exit.
Yeah, for sure. I think that pit exit, the last one that you mentioned there, is going to be very, very, very intriguing tonight, because for me, for one, as a competitive driver on this service, I struggle, even with all my experiences, to get this pit exit correct. It's very blind. You don't know the track limits, especially in these large GT3 race cars. It is very, very easy to push it wide, like you said, get a black flag, and then effectively, after that, especially if you're running midfield or even at the front of the pack, your race can look very dark after that if you get a black flag on the pit lane exit. Because this is a stop-and-go penalty?
Oh, yeah, it is a stop-and-go penalty, one that you are absolutely going to want to avoid. And we've got a very interesting sort of field here. Oh, we got two cars off track here at Hasseröder. There's quite a lot of cars all sort of combined. Drivers not really looking to find space, which I think is an interesting choice. I would have thought that, you'd really want to try to find a piece of the track that you can call your own. Instead, I'm seeing some interesting lunges going through turn 7 and all sorts of spicy stuff, which, I mean, hey, it's going to make for a great race.
3-car spin here as the McLaren went off, and then he followed by Ollie, and then an Audi comes lovely backing into his vision there. Wow, that is not how you want to be starting your qualifying, but quite a funny one indeed, as he would have been very surprised with that appearance from Jaden Draper's Audi there coming into his vision.
Yeah, and I think this would be a really good time to bring up that for this week we have got ourselves safety cars that we need to worry about. If there is a particularly hazardous incident on track, the safety car will be triggered by yours truly. So we're going to have our wits about it here on commentary, not only calling the action, but also deciding when the action needs to stop when we've got a massive crash, probably at turn 1. That's where I am predicting that there will be a safety car. How about you? Where do you reckon there might be a safety car tonight? Because I think there'll be at least one.
Yeah, turn 1's definitely a good shout for a safety car. But really, I think anywhere on this track, as we're already seeing what's going on here in qualifying, and it's already carnage up and down the grid as we're on board here with Luke, and bang, straight into the back of his fellow pink McLaren livery there, and then bang the Aston into the back of him. So I think it's already getting spicy here in qualifying, and we're not even into the racing action.
Oh yeah, but I tell you what, I love it. This is amazing. I reckon we should try to jump on board here, or maybe not just yet. I was gonna say jump on board with Oscar
Oh,
King, but he's still warming his
oh,
tires. So,
goodness
oh
me, and
goodness.
a big one into the wall for qualifying. Lads, settle down. This is not what we want to be doing in the opening stages of our qualifying. Let's go see back on board, I believe it was with Charlie, with what went happen on there. The Lamborghini into the side of the Porsche not having it, turns him around, and backing into the wall does the black Lamborghini, and then the Porsche towing straight to the pit lane. Goodness me, lads. This is not what we want to be doing, especially the start of qualifying.
Yeah, like, this is really, really crazy. We actually are not getting many times on the board just yet. I guess, you know, guys are probably still warming their tires, looking to find the right spot. But, this is a crazy qualifying session. I'm kind of loving it. It's amazing. I love seeing all of this action.
Yeah, for sure. This is definitely a very entertaining qualifying, to say the least. It has already been, and we do see Oscar King now coming round the final sector of the track. I'm gonna jump on board for a hot lap of his, as he is in P9 right now, your current championship leader. Let's see how he does now. Out of the final corner, still warming them tyres, so maybe he's not happy with the tyre temp yet, and I doubt he would be, so we're gonna wait till next lap. Never mind. Straight to second place for Oscar King.
Goodness me. I mean, he's gone to second place, but I think a lot of the field are still warming those tires. The track temperature is 21 degrees, and there is a moderate level of grip, 44%. So there should be a decent amount of grip out there for these drivers. I just think that they're really struggling with a track that they're just not familiar with.
Yeah, definitely. Like you mentioned at the start of our night tonight, I'm going to mention it again. It's definitely not a track that we see on the GT3 calendar often. And maybe not often, maybe I guess at all. I don't think I remember GT3 series, an official GT3 series going in. That's not the line that you want to take Aston Martin in the Golf livery around Joseph Parkinson's goes. Hopefully he will not be doing much of that tonight as we get on board with a lovely replay of his, out over the curb and pop into the wall. So not what you want to be doing.
There's a really common thing that you see at this circuit, at Hasseröder on the exit there. Going wide, if you dip anything off track onto that grass, your car goes around no matter what you are driving, whether it's a Mazda, a GT4, or a GT3. I've seen it many times. I've also done it many times.
I think it's a very easy place, because is it a bit of a dip-off on the exit there? Do you go, there you go, Oscar King, to be to only 0.08 of a second off of the leader now. Is it that curb on the exit there, does it drop off from the road, and is that how the GT3 cars unsettle?
Yeah, absolutely, that is definitely the case, and you've got to be very careful, because it's so important to maximize your your corner exits here, especially with such a long hairpin curve there. You want to get on the power at the right time, but if you go wide and you understeer, especially in these GT3s, that sort of, you know, camber away from the circuit is just going to put your car in a really unhappy position.
Yeah, I think they've got to watch out for that quite a lot of places around here, and it's going to be interesting who pushes the limits to see what they can do in race trim wise compared to qualifying here, because we are in a sim. You can jump back to the pit lane whenever you want here, and you can come out with a brand new car, but in the race trim that is obviously not the case, as you have to jump back to the pits, tow the car. It's going to be about a 2-minute tow around here depending on where you are on the track, and then there's the repairs. So obviously not what you want to be doing in the race, but in qualifying it is all push ahead, and that's not the line for the Porsche that you want to be having there, my friend. We've seen, and he comes back on the track, I think that is, and had another moment there from the other Porsche. Look at that. Left, right, trying to save the car, and around you go. Goodness me.
Left, right, good night indeed. And Oscar King has put up a fantastic time, a 122.5, but I suspect that he's not done as he's going for another hot lap here.
Yeah, that's very strong lap for now. I believe in practice, what was the fastest lap in practice, if we can quickly pull this up. It was Oscar King with a 22 flat. So he's still got 5/10 of a second to grab from his practice time to qualifying. So we expect to see that coming out of the bag. And once again, drivers just testing the limits here. Let's jump on board with someone starting a lap here and run it through a whole lap. Who's a top 10 contender that's about to start a lap here?
Well, that's a good question. I think we might be, honestly, most of the cars have kind of already gone through and they've started their laps here. Oscar's coming back around for another lap as well. But ooh, who's looking strong here?
Can go on board with Oscar to see if he can go better on his time.
Well, he's gone better on that time there, but he's going to have another crack here as he goes into turn 1 here at Hotel. And as we see, there is a bit of distraction on the outside there, but he's gone for a very interesting wide line, sweeping back in. I don't know whether or not that is optimal or whether he was put off by the car that just went off track there. Coming into Hasseröder now, this left-hander. Again, he's going for that late apex, which is probably a wise call as he avoids going too far off track on the exit there. Then coming into the triple, this is where it's usually sort of like a lift. Maybe you might need to rotate the car with a bit of brake, and then you've got to get that car stopped in time to get around this right-hander. And then we go down here towards the chicane, and track limits are the thing to really worry about here. You can't get too close to those orange cones on the outside. We go through here, McDonald's, down this back straight into the shell curves. And I think Oscar here, honestly, is doing a pretty good job. We're going for a good run, and we're seeing, yep, that's what I suspected we would get. We try and hug the the inside of the first curve to maximize the exit of the second, and then we go through this double right-hander to finish off. And how is he going on his lap here? We're gonna get him to cross the line soon, and he improved in the second sector, and he's improved overall at 122.151. What a fantastic lap there by Oscar.
Yeah, that is a very, very rapid lap there from Oscar indeed. Once again, still a 10th off his best lap from practice, but like you mentioned, a couple of those corners that these drivers are taking, especially turn 1 is the big one of this, a bit of a double apex like, and hopefully we'll see it on board with Brock Anderson now, as we can also just jump on board with his McLaren into turn 1. Let's see if he takes the same sort of line as did Oscar King. So 1 apex, 2 apex. He doesn't now. See, he's hugging that right apex. The wheel definitely... Oh, it's understeer out there as his fellow McLaren is spun ahead of him there. But we double B apex here. It's definitely ruining his exit speed. But no, he's hugging the apex again. So that is interesting as you see the different drivers' lines here. I'm not too sure if this one's optimal, as the double apex, I believe, definitely is optimal around multiple corners here, and one here, as you want to hit the first apex, as we see Miller in the Lamborghini get to 4th place there, only 8/10 off Oscar King in P1 position now, so that's a quick lap from him.
Yeah, and Brock here, he's still doing, a pretty good job keeping the car under control, although I think he's having some issues on the exits here, losing a little bit of time. Poor buddy is being put on blast a little. Go over to twitch.tv/SwayAndos after this. He's a legend, this bloke, Brock Anderson. But yeah, coming out here, that right there as well, the exit of the shell curves on the right-hand side, that is another place where off-tracks can happen. And if you get into that gravel, you may rotate your car a little too far.
That may have been an off-track there, but we'll see if his lap does get posted here. He has maybe improved by the slightest amount, and maybe that could have been for him. We're not too sure, as he's got to go another push up. I believe the double apex in these corners are the way to go. Let's see if Oscar can show you some more examples of this. Maybe not, as he will finishing off this whole lap as well. I think he's on for a high 21 here. I think he can pull this one out of the bag. I think he has it in his bag to grab out of a high 21 here. Didn't do it in practice, but I think he's going to push the car right to the limits here.
I absolutely agree.
Be able to get it. Let's have a look.
Yeah. Oh, that might be an off track there. That was quite wide on the exit. We'll see. I think that this will be the final lap for each of these guys here, as qualifying will end in 55 seconds. So no more laps can be made at this point, but there'll be a mad dash by everybody who can post a time to get as high up that grid as possible.
Yeah, for sure. We'll finish off our run of watching hot laps on board our favourite car, the Audi here, with the screaming
Oh.
V10 behind us. This is going to be a wonderful lap we're going to have on board here by the one and only Jaden Draper. He is 1.1 seconds off of Oscar King here. So he's got a lot to gain. It's maybe a bit wide there. You'd rather have the speed on the exit instead of the speed on the entry here, as he's running up this pretty big back straight now. He's going to spot his apex, turn it in, hit the curb, stay in gear 3, flick it back to the other side, hit the other curb. Maybe shouldn't be taking too much of that, but hang it in gear 3 now, back down to gear 4. So back down to gear 3 and all over the exit curb, and then tips it into that lovely last corner apex. He really got it hooked up there and all over the exit curb, up through the gears 3, 4 and to the line. What will Jaden Draper be able to do for his final lap of the session? Not too much faster.
And that will be qualifying. And wow, that was something very, very interesting. And I think that's going to have a sign of things to come for the race, don't you think, Luke?
Yeah, I definitely think it's going to be a sign of things to come in the race, as we have the final driver coming around the corner. Dylan, is it? The last driver, sorry, Daryl. The last driver on a lap here, currently P15. With that lap, gets him up to P14, so a nice little improvement from him there. And Paul Brown coming around the final corner as well to finish his final lap of the session. Can he improve from P17? No, he can't. And I think Geordie Slater just finished his lap and has not improved either on his past time. So there is your qualifying results, as Oscar King rounds out qualifying with a 22 flat. That is some quick pace. So he's clearly been able to somewhat manage his practice pace into qualifying, which is impressive for drivers to be able to do that under the pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really going to be interesting to see how this grid starts off. Although Jaden Draper here coming across the line, is he going to sneak an improvement in at the end? Doesn't look like it. All right. I am so excited for this, Luke. I'm so ready.
I definitely think this is going to be an absolute banger of a race. It's a banger of a track for most series to come here, but like we were saying, GT3s don't always come here. So I think this is going to be a very, very, very exciting session. And here we go. We have our qualifying results here that we're going to pull up. So really quickly, as we show these for our qualifying results here, run us through, Nick.
Alrighty, Oscar King coming in with a very strong performance at qualifying, 122.060. Geordie Slater coming in for P2 with another great result here for him. Ollie Stevens, P3, lining up next to Charlie Miller in P4. Jaden Draper did well, P5. Brock Anderson coming in for a strong showing with P6. Chris Tippett in P7. He recovered well after not being the best example of how to drive this track. Sorry, buddy. Ryan Coxon coming in P8. Did a great job as well. Jordan Groom in P9. Brendan Oakes rounding out that top 10. And then we've got P11 Tyler Lusk. Alongside him is Logan Griffin. And we got Riley Wilson, Daryl Coupe, Luke Harris, Dean Kostopoulos, Paul Brown, Tucker Drysdale, Mason Zeidler in P19, Tyrone Matthews in P20, Ty Savilli, Joseph Parkinson, Matt Hewitt. They didn't post times, and I think they've just decided they want to go from the back of the grid and see how much of this field they can devour.
I reckon that's definitely the call for them that they've made. See how far from the back of the field they can go. So watch out for these three, P21, P22 and P23, all from OC Racing. These three boys are the fastest of the fastest. These boys are absolutely rapid, and we've seen it other nights, and I reckon we'll see it tonight. I reckon they will be coming from the back, and they will be going places tonight. So obviously, there you go. Your grid like it was from qualifying, and then obviously we will scroll through these quickly. So another one to mention here, Brandon Oakes in P10. He is the boss here, and he has let me know tonight that he's feeling some pace. He said he's come off the back last week of some force feedback issues in his wheelbase. So he says he's come off the back of that one. He's put some laps in this week, and he says he's going to be on the pace. This is going to be interesting to see what he can do from P10. Probably hoping to have a bit more race pace than quali pace there, as he was 1.6 seconds off the leader's pace. So we have got a lovely long formation lap here, and I'm going to grab a sip of water while I can before I scream as the lights go green.
Absolutely, and I am just so excited to see how this goes. With such a tight field, 24 cars on this track, I think, honestly, this race might just be a really good advertisement to iRacing to bring this track into some of those GT3 races, potentially the regional European ones. I reckon it's got a lot to offer. It's a really fun track, although the thing that may be counting against it is I don't know how easy it is going to be for these guys to overtake here. Perhaps they will prove me wrong and show some very interesting dives and attempts at some of the places around here. I think that turn 1 at Hotel is where you can try to make play. Hasseröder at turn 3, that left-hander, it can be an overtaking position, but there's usually not a ton of run before you get there. But I think the best place to fight cars is after you get out of the chicane, down this back straight where we have our cars now, through these shell curves and into the the last sector of the track. I think that is where we'll see a lot of the battles won and lost.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that's a correct statement to make. But I think we've just seen here, Matt Hewitt, one of the drivers to watch out for tonight, hasn't made it to the grid. So that's very interesting from him. So definitely not what you want to be doing, not making it to the grid. So maybe he wants to run one out of the pits tonight. But I'm very excited for this race. And let's get into it as the safety car peels off. Now Oscar King has the grid behind him. He will be rounding the final corner. He will decide when he wants to stamp on that gas, as we have 23 GT3 cars lined up. And look, he's gone already. The foot to the floor and the lights are green. We are running down to turn 1. A 23 car build with a Lamborghini. Look to the inside of the AlphaTauri liveried Lexus there. No, he doesn't. What's going on back in the field? We got two wide action the whole way around turn 1 and 2. We got Ferraris, we got Lamborghinis, we got cars going wide. Still too wide up through to turn 3 and 4. Here we got to move down the inside there for the Ferrari. And a couple drivers jockeying for position out the back there. But Joseph Parkinson already looking for positions that he wants to make there at the back of the field. We will jump back up to the leaders here.
Oh, goodness me, that was some crazy action. And Riley Wilson has had a bit of an incident where he's spun and lost his place. So he had a little bit of a hard time. Oh, we've got another one. Oh, my goodness. That is a huge hit coming out of McDonald. We're going to need a replay of that one. Tyler Lusk has had an absolute horrible turn lap 1 there. And, oh, my goodness, we're starting to get some of these cars getting unstuck.
Yeah, for sure. That we'll definitely have a look at that one later on when this pack is cooled down, as it's still pretty hectic here. We've got driver jogging position. It'll be very close out of the final corner. We got the Penrite Mustang trundling down into turn 1. Really have this move on the inside of the McLaren on the outside there. He's going to be looking down the inside that then turns to the outside, so the McLaren having the advantage there, but he's been hit. He's off into the wall. And we can't even have a look at that because Jaden Draper's already on the back of the McLaren here. Will Jaden Draper look to the inside, down into this corner? No, he will not. He'll think better of it. But goodness me, we have so many incidents to have a look back on once this is settled down. Oh, wow.
This is absolutely carnage here. We've had a few different spots where cars have gone off and had a big hit. Oh no!
Jaden Draper into the side of the McLaren going for a late lunge, and the McLaren's had none of it. As he hits him, he drifts. He's managed to make his way back onto the track, so hopefully he doesn't cause much trouble, and he's just losing more and more positions as we do have Ty Sevilli he swallows up from Ty Sevilli as well. But oh goodness me, is that a bit of a slowdown from Ty Sevilli? It's a bit easy to get slowdowns in that corner, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. If you cut that chicane too much, then you will be told to slow down and give up the time gained.
Alright, I think it's calmed down enough for us to have a quick look while we have the moment on what happened here. So there you go, Ryan Wilson around and off the track at the start of the race there. Not what you want to be doing in these open stages, and then goes around again trying to get it back on the track. So let's see at this moment that you were talking about off the track there for Tyler. What about Mason here having a bit of a moment at the start as well? Not looking too good into the braking zone and loops it on his own. There you go. We'll jump back quickly on board with this exciting battle before we get into the rest of the replays. But an absolutely hectic opening couple laps out here as Jaden Draper's already looking onto the back of this Porsche as well for even more positions.
Yeah, this is becoming a really interesting race where cars are now looking like they're out of position thanks to some of these incidents. So it's just going to spice it up a bit more, make these guys hungry and desperate to gain back those positions that they lost.
We also have a second incident for Mason there, so really not going his way at all at the start of this race. As it seems like the red Ferraris are having moments after moments, and this is the moment that Ty Sevilli, I believe, went off track that managed to let Jaden Draper through again, as he's had huge moments on the exit of that corner there, and jumps back on the track. Oh no, here it was that he did go off there, and Jaden Draper managed to get back past him.
God, it's just so much that we have to keep track of here.
What a battle going on here as we jump to exciting. Look at this 4-car pack here. We have on the back of it Ty Sevilli, then Jaden Draper, and then the Porsche of Tucker onto the back of the Aston of Logan there. So he's looking very feisty, the Porsche of Tucker there, going down the inside here on the pink Aston. Pink Aston hopes to keep it around the outside. Will he run him out of the road? Yes, he will. But now Jaden Draper has a look there, and he thinks better. He has a better opportunity there. Takes his chances. Wills Ty Sevilli also look at his chances down the inside. Yes, he will. Goodness me. Logan is going backwards. That's 3 cars and 3 corners there that Logan has dropped.
My goodness gracious me, there's just so much going on. Cars fighting back and forward. You gain a position, you lose it right back, switchbacks, and everything in between. It is absolute red hot action here, and I am just absolutely enjoying watching every single piece of this and calling it here with you, Luke.
Here we go. Forces it down the inside, does Jaden Draper. Says nothing to the Porsche that was squeezing him to the inside. Now will Ty Sevilli also have a look on him as he's got a bit of an overspeed into the final 2 corners. Thinks better of it. Sets up a move maybe down to turn 1 and is waiting on his prey. Here we go. Hold on. Brandon Oakes looking very feisty on the back of Brock Anderson here. The gap is only 2/10. Here we go. This was the race pace that I was talking about from Brandon Oakes that he was hoping for. And I was right. Ty Sevilli down the inside. Thinks better of it though, as it does turn to the outside. And the Porsche up on 2 wheels. Goodness me. And into the side door. And look at that. Logan Griffin taking his opportunities back to the front of the pack now. But Ty Sevilli did get on the Porsche, and he's into the back of the Aston there a little bit. And now the Porsche comes back through. Goodness me. Nick, this is carnage. This is lovely racing.
Yeah, and we've also, just a bit further up the field, Brock Anderson has dropped a whole bunch of places. He had an incident. What on earth is going
Oh,
on?
hold on. We cannot go off the live shot there because he has. Ty Severely, I think, did get into Tucker there. We're going to have a look back at this one to hope it wasn't too outside. Maybe switch to inside, did he? Or did he lose it himself? Ah, he's lost it himself. Goodness me.
He's done well to not collect anyone on the way through there. My goodness, I tell you what, there's going to be some hard work for the stewards here. Anyone who wishes to submit any incidents in this race, or there could be quite a lot of stuff that they might want to look at.
Look at this. Brandon Oakes right up on the back of Ollie Stevens now for P4. He's got the run. Obviously, like we talked about, not many drivers opting for down the inside of turn 1 because once again, turn 2 turns to the outside there. So it's only a move if you have the most amount of overspeed, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that we've got that's Tippett there that's actually chasing down our good old leader here, Mr. Oakes. We've got to... You tell you what, when you're sending one down on the guy who owns the league, you want to be a little more careful, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. It's definitely a very ballsy move to go for there. But look, these drivers are the bravest. They know when to go for the move and when not to. So I think we'll leave it up to them to decide when to go for it. Do we have an overspeed here? I think we do. As he sees Brandon Oakes go a little bit wide. He knows he's vulnerable now. We'll look to the inside. It will be a little bit late as he doesn't have much of an overlap. Brandon leaves him the room. Then says no more room for you as he shuts the door there and dips a wheel into the gravel.
And that dipping a wheel into the gravel will be an off track, and that is something that these guys they want to be careful of because in just a split second you can rack up incident points here if you're not careful.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think this is a track where the incident points can rack up quite quickly. Like you're saying, as this is the most interesting battle we have on track here, as it's cooled down immensely after the opening laps. And look how wide these guys are double apexing this first, assortment of corners we have here. And look in the background, our friend there, Joseph Parkinson, lurking away in his Golf liveried Aston Martin. He'll be jumping up as many positions as he can. He's already into P7 from the place he started in, which was 15 places more down than he is now. So he's gained 15 whole places on this field already tonight. And hopefully I'll be able to scroll through here while you continue on and look at a couple of these moves that he's made.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that Joseph has just been showing once again why he has that pace and he just loves to go in from the back there, making a nice move, just keeping the car tight on the inside of Hasserota there. And I think that's just a good example of knowing where to put the car and where to get on the gas. Because if you get it right around here, then you will be rewarded. But if you get it wrong, as you can see, we've had quite a few different cars have incidents here. A number of them have actually made it over to the pit lane, and a few have retired from the race, so we're actually down a couple of cars from when we've started.
Yeah, we are. That's very true. That's actually a good thing to call, because we're down about... a couple of them have made their way back out on track now, but we're down about 3 or 4 cars from the initial grid, as we've got 2 main battle packs here. We've got Jaden Draper on the back of Luke Harris now. He's looking fierce in that Audi. He's got a bit of damage on the front there, but even more scary it makes that. It shows that he's ready to go into battle for this move that he wants on Luke Harris here. So a 2.4k up against a 1.7k. Very strong pace from Jaden Draper the whole this season, as he's currently sitting in P2 in the championship.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that I also want to mention is that some of these corners, even if you do take them and you stay on the track, you can actually pick up damage. Just running around in test driving earlier. Actually, I will stop right here because we have some action.
Yeah, definitely. Jaden Draper got the exit speed, and he's got the whole entire car past Luke Harris there, down into the right-left complex there, and he's just flown away as he's already pulled 7/10 of a second. So Jaden Draper on the absolute money here tonight. He's gone past him, and he says goodbye.
Yeah, what a fantastic move there. And just as I was saying before, that there are a couple of spots here where some of the sausage curbs can actually do some damage to the car. I don't believe that the GT3s, since they don't come here very often, they might not have their rides particularly optimized for this circuit. I picked up wheel damage just by going through a corner with a little bit too much curb. And oh, goodness me, Luke Harris is around. He has gone around on the exit of Hotel. Oh my goodness, I think he might have just lost it there. Potentially a bit of oversteer by getting on the gas too early.
Yeah, we'll have a look here as we've brought up the replay, and yeah, there's not many cars around him, and you've called it correctly. He's just on the exit of the corner. It's just too much gas, and he's just looped it. That is just such a shame from the battle and the defensive masterclass he was really doing against Jaden Draper there. And he's just dropped down the position, so all that much that he was managing has really gone a little bit to the waste there. But look at this, as he has not taken much time whatsoever, has Joseph Parkinson right up onto the back of Tippett and Oaks here. So Parkinson hopefully wanting to get both of them as quick as he can, so he can go along his journeys to the top 4.
Yeah, absolutely. And just I see here on the track map, we actually have quite a spread field now. There is not a part of the track that doesn't have a car on it currently, as now, you know, we're getting into the middle section of this race. And the thing that people are going to also have to think about is tires, not tires so much, but maybe the main thing they're going to have to think about is pitting for fuel and where they might end up coming back out onto the circuit after they pitted.
Oh, definitely. That's definitely something to think about, as our mandatory, well, our box for fuel here in this lobby does definitely mix up some things, as we have seen in the preseason and round 1. But look how close he is now, Tippett on the back of the car ahead. Look at this view. We'll jump on board with their McLaren on McLaren, and in the little review mirror down there, you see Joseph Parkinson waiting for his prey, waiting for an opportunity, but he's got a bit of a run here, he does, on Oaks, down into the right, left, he's had enough, and oh, he shuts the door to Oaks, but now Parkinson right on the back of him. Look at that Golf livery Aston Martin, sniffing the exhaust of the McLaren, but oh, a bit of a drift there with a touch of the grass on the entry. Double right-handers into the final corner. Bit of a missed apex for Oaks there. He's going to look for an extra speed, but he doesn't have it. Does Joseph Parkinson have it? Behind him, doesn't seem like it, so we're all going to have to settle down before turn 1.
Goodness me, actually wild there that Tippett decided to stick his nose in at the beginning of the shell curves. I really was not thinking that that would be the place to put it, and Brendan Oaks decided to just shut that door hard. That could have been a nasty incident had that gone just a little differently.
Yeah, definitely. I think it could have gone. I think it had all the possibility to go very differently there. And this is just a wonderful 3 GT3 cars going at it, isn't it? This is a view to be... Oh, look at that. Joseph Parkinson right up on the back of it. But here we go. He's so close to the rear end there. Does Joseph Parkinson look up the inside? He's tapped him. He's pushed him wide a little bit, but no way we're going to be too wide around here. But then repositions himself after that little tap. So maybe he knew that that wouldn't be the one to go for once he had done that little tap and, you know, take advantage of something that maybe shouldn't have been a way to get the move done.
Yes, some excellent sportsmanship here from these drivers. They have all raced quite cleanly. I do believe that the incidents that we have seen, while there have been some, it's mostly been just from, I guess, a bit of overzealousness and aggression. Oh, no!
Goodness me, Tippett, that is not what you want to be doing, as he's rejoined the track there pretty fiercely. Maybe getting in... Oh, no, now he has to reverse it. Pull it back out again, goodness me. Oh, no, he puts it around again. Get it on the track, my friend, please. You're hurting us. You're hurting all of us, as you're seeing, as we're watching you struggle to get out on the track there. But front end damage, and goodness gracious me, Joseph is bringing this gap down. So he's been happy that one of them has got out of his way there. And now is looking for the next one in the line of his line of fire that he has here. So one McLaren down, one McLaren to go for him here. He's looking much tighter apex line there, gains it up on the exit, loses it out. So we're going to jump on board with this beautiful new GT3 car, the Aston Martin that he is driving for this season. Doesn't get an overspeed there. But you never know with this man. He could throw it in. Bit of a yellow flag there for Jaden Draper. No, he thinks better of it. Maybe a bit of a look there, but oh, no way he'd be gone from that far back. And Oaks over the exit curb there. Goes to the left. No way around the outside, and he gets it done. What a move around the outside of the second final corner. Wow, you've got to have commitment to do that one.
Absolutely. Joseph Parkinson just seeing that error that Brendan did on the exit there of the shell curves and pounced. And now we are just going to have to see how long it's going to take him to track down those cars in front. He's got a 6-second gap on the way up the field to Ollie Stevens and 27 minutes to do it. I think that he will definitely have a charge at those cars ahead. As we now look around in the rest of the field to see where the battles are now, Luke Harris is now going to be defending the position from Tippett, who still wants to try to make back some of those places he lost from that incident that we saw earlier and that damage that he carried. He goes down the inside of Hasserota here. Tippett, what a fantastic move. Although Luke, I don't think, is going to let him get away with that. He's going to stay right on him. However, through the triple, it's really one at a time through here. You can try to go too wide, but it will not end well. So Luke is going to have another look at maybe trying to get this one back on the back stretch. And he comes in through the chicane, and it's going to be really important who makes the best exit out of McDonald or Tippett. I think that wasn't quite it, but Luke is just going to sit back for the moment. He's having a look down the inside just to maybe let Tippett know that he's there. Ooh, quite a late break there by Luke, and he's missed the apex by just a margin. And we're now moving away, and we're having a look at some of the other drivers.
We'll come back on. Actually, yeah, we will move away as he dips another 2 wheels into the grass there. I mean, into the gravel there. But yeah, it's a battle that will have to cede for another couple minutes for sure. Hold on, let's just jump up to P2 here, as we think we've got, yep, the AlphaTauri liveried Lexus there, dealing with a bit of traffic, as we saw on the track map there, but gets his way through, and definitely the way to get through it. We've got a bit of a 3-car pack here, do we?
Absolutely. It's fantastic that we've got a very good little battle here between Tucker, Dean, and I believe that's Coop there as well. We've got just a very exciting one. We're coming down here to turn 1. I wonder where we're going to look to make the move. Where would you want to try to set up your pass if you're in any of these cars?
I believe if I was driving Dean's Lamborghini here, I think I'd want to get a bit closer, just maybe half a car closer here before I started thinking about, and that's not the way to do it, as he does go wide there, loses quite a bit of time. But commentators curse there, as I asked him to get half a car closer, he gets half a car further away. So I'm sorry there, Dean. May have ruined your overtaking opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important, isn't it? You got to get those exits right. You got to stay on that car in front. The other thing as well is that the dirty air here might be something that could be factoring in, because there is a lot of mechanical required for these corners. They're very much mid-speed and slower corners around this track. And sitting in that dirty air for a long period of time could mean that you get a little bit more understeer if you're not paying attention and you're not responding to how the car feels.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely going to play a part there, as Brocky Anderson going a bit wide there. Ty Sevilli has managed to gain a heap of time on the exit of that corner from that. Look at them hitting apexes when Brocky is missing them. Up ahead of him, right on the back of the McLaren now. This lovely shot actually taps him there on the exit of the corner. His fellow mate, Brock Anderson, won't be too happy with that one. But he hits both the apexes here. He's looking for a good run. Will run it off the track, and that's not the way to do it. Big save. And Brocky gives him a bit of a wave there as he swerves and says, my friend, that is not the way to do it. If you want to get past me, bit of a wave there. We'll try to drive away from him, but I'm not too sure how that's going to last, as Tyson really one of the fastest on our grids here.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, but both of these drivers, they are now going into the pits, and I guess they've decided that the pit window is now. So this is going to be interesting, where cars are going to start going through the pit. This pit entry here is also quite a challenging one, as well as the pit exit.
So we jumped off board there real quick because we seen that Dean has had a bit of a moment. Around he goes, right on the apex. As we first had up at the top of your screen, you also see the Porsche around there. Oh! And he's just missed the other Porsche there as he just gets out of the way. So a couple cars feeling it as it's time to jump in the box maybe. We've got Porsche on Porsche here, and there you go, Porsche straight into the pit in front of him, which was Cooper. So definitely, here we go. As we talked about, this is the moment where it then turns to the different interesting strategy calls, and we see Jaden Draper.
Massive crash. Brock Anderson has been completely turned around inside of the pit exit and has now got to try to do a bit of an Austin Powers here.
Oh no. Oh, he's towed. Oh my goodness
gracious me.
We didn't catch that one. We're going to have to try and get back to what happened there. Here we go, Brock Anderson. Oh, they're too wide. No, they've got on the gas. Ty Severely not resting it. Tyre banging. Ty Severely into the back of him. Oh, no. Boys, the stewards are not going to be happy with that one. Oh, no. What are your opinions on this one? You just gotta rest it, don't you, at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Brock was the one that was out first. He got onto the track beforehand, and Ty just needs to slot in behind there. Turning someone on the pit exit is not going to be smiled upon favorably, and I believe that there will be quite a severe penalty handed out to Ty at the end of the race, possibly a qualifying ban or maybe a grid penalty for the next race. We'll have to wait and see. That'll also be points on his league license that he will have to work off or make sure that he doesn't add to during the season.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely think that is a factor that could come in to play there, the penalty points. Definitely got to watch out for them as you don't want to rack up too many. Bit of an incident for Paul Brown here. Do we see pit lane exit? Hopefully it's nowhere near as bad as what happened to Brocky. Do we have a moment on the pit exit here? Grass. Cold tires maybe. Where's the crash are we seeing coming? Is it going to be coming? Or has the game just registered as it? Maybe the game has just registered that. But has Ty gone? Oh no. Ty Severely, after having the incident with Brock, the front end, the aero not working on the curb, into the wall, and he's gone back to the pits. That's a big one.
Possibly maybe a bit of sympathy. Oh my goodness, jump on board with Oscar King. He's had a bit of a hard time trying to get around some traffic. He had to cut the chicane and go through the gravel there. Maybe we can get a replay of that. That was quite an interesting moment. Haven't seen too much of Oscar. When you're usually out in front, you kind of just riding away. Oh, and we see he's got a lot of traffic to deal with, and just decides I'm going to just go through the gravel here and avoid any nonsense.
Into the box he comes.
Fair call. Yeah, that's it. He's coming in now to box. And I wonder just how the rest of this race is going to pan out, as most of the cars have come into the pit lane for their fuel. Ollie Stevens coming in as well. Charlie Miller has come in for a pit too. Ooh, okay.
Darryl looking for really interesting action here. Down the inside of the white monster Ford. Looks for the better drive out of the corner. He had it down the inside, but a lot of drivers actually opting out of that, as have we seen tonight. Will someone box here? No one peels in. I think we saw Darren box there one before. So as we get in to this boxing stage, we will pull up who's pitted and who hasn't here. Give me a moment while I do.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's going to be crucial to look at, is just how these cars manage. We're having a bit of an interesting moment here. Coming out of pit lane, Charlie Miller.
Oh!
Goodness gracious me!
What is going on here?
God. Okay, I think we're gonna need to. I think we're gonna need to start this one again. My goodness.
Safety car, I think could be the call with that one. Oh wow, that was cars into the wall, into the barrier. Oh my! Wow. Oh my word.
That was absolute carnage. And Charlie Miller has disconnected from the session.
So maybe he's not too happy with how he has gone about happened there. But yeah, once again, yellow flag out. We're gonna have to come back on these moments real quick, as we now do have obviously a moment because the yellow flag is out. Does the safety car come out of the box here? Is my question. And when do we get to the back of it, or is it just a slow down? I think we'll be getting to the back of the safety car soon, and we'll hopefully jump back on what happened to a lot of these drivers here. As here we go, here's the first one. So Tucker into turn 1, takes the curbs, car unsettles itself, comes straight across, nearly taking out the double McLaren sandwich that we had going on there. And here you go on what was going on. He was into the back of him, and oh, this is poor driving. Oh, goodness me, boys. This is really not what you want to be doing there tonight, as we have 3 drivers that it's told us have crashed, but I don't believe they have. I believe that it's just them rocking up to the back of a safety car, maybe. Oh yeah, there you go. They're waiting for the safety car to come out as it comes steaming out. Goodness me, what an absolute traffic jam that was there. So behind the safety car we are now, as we're getting to grips on how this safety car works, everyone, ladies and gentlemen in the chat. It's something to definitely keep our eye on. Oh, we've got Ty Civilly pulling off the road there. Maybe we're letting some traffic through there, Ty? Yeah, I think we are. So Tyling some traffic through there. Oh, letting his mate through. That would be Joseph Parkinson. That, oh my word, this man is up 19 positions. Joseph Parkinson is in that Aston Martin. He just keeps managing to impress us night after night after night, doesn't he?
Absolutely, and now that we've got this restart, it's going to be a really interesting mad dash to the finish. I think most people have already done their pit stops, and now they just get to, pace, take a minute, take a breather, but then when we get right back into it, it's going to be absolute carnage. I do believe that our driver of the safety car probably asleep at the wheel. He's not normally called upon in these circuit races. And when we told him, get out there and sort the field out because it's carnage, he probably was just having a little kip there, maybe having a nice cup of tea and some biscuits, and just realized, oh, wait, hang on, I got a job to do. Get out on the field and restore order.
Definitely could be what was going on. If I'm not mistaken, you also do choose when the safety car does have to go in. So some rolls for you tonight. And I think we're going to go around for one more go around for the safety car, and then I believe it is your call to make him jump back into the box. And yeah, we have 15 minutes left on the clock. So like you said, last 15-minute dash. For some drivers, this has come at a bad time. For some, for others, a good time. But I believe tonight it has come a bit of for a mutual time for a lot of the grid. So for a lot of people, you would rather the safety car come out as you're about to pit. So you have more than less a shorter pit time than the usual car. But yeah, it'll calm down here.
Yes, the other thing as well with the safety car is that the field has to rearrange itself here as you get ready to go back into the race. So any cars that were down a lap have to drop to the back of the field. Unless there was anybody who got a wave around, which there was not, as none of the leaders pitted. They had already finished their pit stops. Yes, so we are just getting the field to sort of, get itself organized. A couple of cars did use this opportunity to pit, which I think is a good call. Get rid of that damage, especially on some of these guys. That's really important. One of the advantages that we have with the safety car, we also have fast repairs in this series just to keep guys in the race a little bit longer. We want to make sure that we have as many guys finishing as possible and keep as many cars on track as possible. I believe that is what gives us the best racing. Don't you agree, Luke?
Yeah, 100% it does. So there you go. Your pit stops are up on next to your interval there. So the top 8 going with one stop. I'm not too sure why Groom and Griffin in P9 and 10 have done the double stop here tonight. Not too sure if that one was needed. Maybe to fix some damage. Maybe so, but I believe... Have you got it sorted with the safety car going in this lap? I believe, hopefully,
Yes,
safety car...
I believe the safety car will be pulling in this lap. I just need to make sure that that all goes well.
100%.
This is definitely a new experience for us here, where we are not only commentating and bringing you this action this evening, but also keeping everybody in line when things get crazy by deploying the safety car as required. It'll be interesting to hear what the feedback is from the drivers on this safety car, whether we believe that it's a good addition to the series or whether it's just better to keep everybody out of the track racing. There also could have been potentially some points earlier on in the race where we could have had the safety car come out. I just found it a little bit difficult to really decide, but I figured in that absolute carnage of turn 1, I think that was the time to pull the trigger.
Do we have the safety car peeling into the pit now? Seems like it wants to go round again. Does it have a moment to peel in a bit later? Maybe its drivers not maybe sorting themselves out as best they could, but not in again. So sorry, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be going around for one more lovely merry-go-round trip around the track here, but I will take this moment to bring you up some lovely stats here of drivers and from their race so far. So here you go. This was the laps here, L18, and down the board furthermore are the laps that the drivers have gone into the pit. So King taking a bit of a mutual in the middle, I guess, lap time to box compared to the other gridders. We've got a couple of lap 17 levels, lap 16, and Tippett even taking lap 15. So that was a pretty early stop for him. So he's wanting to maybe make this later stint a bit longer than the early ones, and the latest stop we have was a couple of lap 20 stops for Griffin there in P10, and Matthews there P16 as well. And other than that, they're pretty evened out throughout the field, and we've got a bit of our off track here, so you do get penalties if you get too many of these, but a lot along through the top 10 they seem to be keeping it all stable there and not getting too many. So off track can occur in this game when you obviously dip a wheel on the gravel or dip a wheel off the track there, or even cut corners is what we've been talking tonight about off track. So that's a penalty system for iRacing to keep these drivers in line, keep them for not doing any too cheeky things, to gain any time and not to gain any advantages there from going off track. So hopefully we have the pit, the safety car sorted this time around. How are we looking, Nick?
I think we should be having the safety car pulling in at the end of this lap with any luck.
Hopefully.
Typically the safety car will usually go for about 3 laps. You'll normally have, one to sort of get everybody calmed down, then another lap to sort of organize the field, and then one to go, and that's when we will have lights back out, green flag, and race going.
There you go. We do have, hopefully, it's a bright sign that the safety car lights are out above that safety car now, so it will be all aboard to Oscar King, and hopefully, if we have our fingers crossed, the safety car will be jumping into the pit lane here, and then Oscar King, single file, will have the chance. There you go. Safety car has peeled in. So, ladies and gentlemen, grab your popcorn. We will be going green again here for hopefully the last time. And he's gone throughout the final last 2 corner. But, oh, Joseph's around the background as well. But we can't stay on him for long because Geordie Slater, I believe, is going to have a look down into turn 1. He's right up on the back of it. Cars going everywhere in the back of the field there. And Geordie Slater down the inside of turn 1. For the lead. He's going to be going the whole way around the outside. Goodness gracious me. This is amazing stuff here. They're into each other's doors there. It is Lexus on BMW. Oh, wow, this is carnage. Jaden Draper in the background there wanting to get on the action, still warming his tyres up. But Jordan Slater has done it. He is in the lead. Oh, wow, what a move down into turn 1.
And we've also had a couple of crashes at the back of the field. We had poor Joseph Parkinson spinning around there. Then there was another that had another bad restart, and then a couple of cars crashing in hotel.
What?
Oh my goodness, we've now had another car rear end into the triple, and another one that's gone out onto the grass and into the wall at the triple. My goodness, what is going on?
This is absolutely carnage. Surely the safety car can't come out for 2 laps in a row. Wow, that would be entertaining to mix the field up, because then Geordie Slater would have to take the field through the safety car again. So switch roles here for King. King has had the advantage for the whole race, I would say, and hopefully he doesn't want that to change now. He's had a huge shift out of the final corner. Surely Jaden Draper is not taking this advantage. He is! Oh wow, Oscar King is going backwards and backwards. Geordie Draper down the outside of turn 1. Oscar King says no, but he's going to have the inside now. This is going to look very good for Jordan Draper here on the exit of turn 2. He squeezes the BMW out, and goodness me, Oscar King is having an absolute mare, but he looks to the inside now, and he's going to put it back down the inside of the Audi there for P2. He is not giving up now as the Audi has a big moment on the exit there of the left-hander, and he's going to have to seize position for now. And we have a McLaren in the background into the wall as well. Oh my goodness me.
This absolutely carnage all over the track. I have a feeling that the safety car might have made the track less safe. That might be a controversial opinion, but I do believe bringing the field together has just kind of added more carnage, so that might be one where we need to look at that at the end of the race. But I tell you what, it has added a bit of extra spice, as Oscar King, who has been leading the entire way in the championship, was absolutely uncontested in round 1, is now in 2nd place, and he's going to have to make the time back.
We love
chase Geordie down.
We really do love it. This is why I love safety cars. This is what happens. Yes, safety cars may breed safety cars, but this is what we're talking about right here. The race may have been in Oscar King's hand if the safety car didn't come out there. It may have been all over. The book may have already been written, but the book has been flipped over now. And Slater has got in the lead from out of nowhere, and Draper even having looks for the lead now. So this is why we enjoy the safety car, ladies and gentlemen. This is why we bring it out, and this is why I think it deserves to stay in here.
Oh goodness me, Jaden has actually had a moment coming out of Hustle Rotor. He has spun.
As we just got off board with him, has decided to go around. We'll grab a cheeky replay there. Audi very light in the rear end sometimes, and like he just said, around he goes.
Oh my goodness, it just does not stop. We get so much action, and we just love to see it. It's crazy. It's absolutely wild out here.
It does not stop whatsoever, like you said. These drivers are going absolutely at it, and have been for 40 minutes. But I will like to stay. We are 5 minutes left. In 30 seconds, we have got 5 minutes left for this wonderful race we've had around here tonight. 45 minutes, the perfect time for a race in GT3s. And we have got Wilson looking at the back of Luke Harris now.
Yeah, absolutely. It is going to be really tight going, and these guys have made up a lot of positions. P6 and P7, they were starting a lot further down the grid. They have really reaped the benefits of this chaotic race, and they're going to get some fantastic points in the championship.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a way of looking at it, and a way that they will be looking at it as well for tonight. But look, this race is not over. We'll jump on board and have a look at what it looks like from Oscar's car. He is still there. He still has an opportunity. Although he poled it and has been leading for most of the race, this driver, Oscar King right here, still has an opportunity to get at him, as he is only 1.3 seconds down the road from the leader. But we will keep an eye on that gap, as we've got a sneaky three-way battle here. The Porsche on the Ford, and the Ford on the McLaren we see going on here.
Yeah, absolutely. We get just so much interesting action here. Although I do believe that we just need to be careful, because Oscar is actually making a little bit of time back on Jordan.
Ooh.
And, oh, what a move. What a brave move here on the inside. Paul Brown. Are they going to go too wide? Oh, he turned him. Oh, no. Tyrone is absolutely sent into the tire wall. See you later. We've decided.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
That is a very big moment, and one that you would hope to never see in real life, as that is a huge off there for Tyrone, and we'll go on board. He was an absolute passenger there. Bang! Gets hit from behind and into the wall. Very scary moment for him there, as he was doing well up 7 positions he was.
Oh. And can we please also get ourselves a replay of Luke Harris, who's had a bit of a nightmare coming out of hotel. He decided to completely ship it, where he's hit those sausage curbs, and then a bit of an interesting rejoin here.
Ooh.
Oh.
Our second place is also who we thought was having a go, has had a huge snap of oversteer and lost so much time there. Oh. So maybe that is the end to our hopes and dreams of the lead of the race still being up for grabs. But wow, a night to forget for this man on the screen here, Joseph Parkinson, in his damaged Aston Martin. He had it all coming for him as he was there in, was it P3 at the safety car restart, or P2 even maybe?
It was P3, and as just had an absolute nightmare of a restart. A few of these guys had a really difficult time with that. I gotta say, props to Oscar though. Even though he went wide, he managed to rescue that. That could have been disaster. He could have lost a number of places or wrecked his car. What a brilliant, display of car control there, coming out from Oscar King.
For sure. We'll actually jump back here and look what happened to Joseph, as there you go. Way too much power as we're on topic about him on the exit of the final corner. And we'll get even scary on board with him. Look at this. Hear him plant the throttle, and around it goes. So it's just like that. Click your fingers and it's gone.
That's it, absolutely. I do wonder if maybe it's better to be in second gear there for that restart. Obviously, you might lose a bit of time there, but just the stability of the car is something to consider. It also might have been a case that he just touched that corner. It's hard work. It is absolutely hard work. The worst place to have to, gas up is when you're in that mid-corner.
Yeah, for sure. That is a terrifying place to gas up, but that's what the leader does. King decides when he wants to go, and I bet that is exactly how he wanted to time it, It's hard for cars to be starting mid-corner, and that's what he wants. He wants to struggle. He wants them to not have the greatest exit. And in fact, he would have been rubbing his hands together when he saw that happen to Joseph. As much as it doesn't sound nice, it's exactly what a leader would want on a restart, isn't it?
Absolutely, and I think maybe we can see if Oscar's going to have one last dash here at Jordan. I don't know.
He's brought the gap down, hasn't he? No, he hasn't.
Yeah, it has the white flag been waved?
No, we would usually get white flags right next to the timing board at the top of your screen there. So I believe for a 45-minute session, it'll be a perfect 30-lap race. I believe we would get white flags if it was white flags. So I don't know. It is not white flag this time around. So we're going to have to wait till next time around for the white flag. And you're right. Goodness me. This gap from Oscar King to Geordie was 3 seconds. This man is on an absolute mission. Oh my word. It is now 1 second. Oh, this could get spicy with 1 lap to go. Oh my goodness me. My hands are up in the air. I'm worried. Oh, he's off track there a little bit. Will Slater's party get absolutely spoiled here with a couple minutes to go?
Oh,
no, it's checkered flag.
We actually see the checkered flag coming out here. So we did miss that one, unfortunately, in our overlay. But well done to Geordie Slater getting P1 at Oschersleben. What a fantastic drive. Oscar King coming in with a fantastic effort in P2. Well done there to him. And Chase Tippett's coming through for P3. And, what's going on here?
Will we have a bit of a look from over there to the line? No, he wouldn't. The deal has been sealed there. And the rest of the cars, I believe, are lapped cars. No, we still have Tyrone here on Dean. This is for position, I believe. No, it's not. He's a lap down. So these drivers just coming around now to finish off their races here tonight, as well as Paul Brown and Darrell there behind him in the Porsche car. So that tonight was absolutely carnage. I thoroughly enjoyed that tonight, and I reckon that's the best race we've had of the season so far. What do you think?
I think that was fantastic. We got to see a lot of action, a lot of cars making moves, and a lot of crashes. But I think the main takeaways here are going to be some interesting stuff for the stewards to look at. I really do think that the biggest incident of the day was Brock coming out of that pit exit with Ty all the way on his haunches and just completely taking him out in the pit exit, which is not something you want to see. So that is something that is going to be looked at, I believe.
That, as well as the Lamborghinis getting inside each other, and as well as the Porsche coming flying across the left of the screen, from the left to the right of the screen, as the BMW of Oscar King lovely brings his Porsche in, and so do the drivers behind him. Into the box they come, as they've done their parade lap. They've brought it around all in one piece, and that's exactly what they've been told to do tonight. So a lovely, lovely finish for the drivers there tonight. I think they've all earned maybe a beer after the race, depending on what they're thinking about. But I reckon this was a lovely, lovely, lovely race tonight, and I think they earned everything. I think the top three definitely earned it tonight as Tippett. So we'll run you through the order here tonight. Geordie Slater in P1 there. A lovely last minute dash to the line, wasn't it? With the gap only 1.1 seconds he finished up with. I think he's deserved that. I reckon if that safety car didn't come out, the race possibly would have been over there. So then Oscar King having to eat his words for tonight. Maybe he's going to have to bite it. He's going to have to say, alright, well, I went out there, I did pole it, I was leading for the start of the race, but I'm going to have to settle for P2 there, and then Tippett in P3. Brandon Oakes has definitely lived up to what he said there, so he's come home for a P4, his best result of the season so far for Oakes there. He told me before, he's looking for a better result tonight, and he has definitely proved it tonight. And Jaden Draper in P5. Maybe he was hoping for a better result than P5 there, as he was looking pretty good with a couple, nearly 5 minutes to go after the safety car restart, but he did loop that one. And then Wilson in P6, Joseph Parkinson in P7. Very unfortunate by him on the safety car restart, looping that one round. And Luke Harris in P8, and Logan Griffin in P9, Brock Anderson in P10. Take us through the rest.
That's it. Yeah, we had Paul Brown in P11, Daryl Coop in P12, Tyrone Matthews there in P13, Dean Kostopoulos, who had quite a few unfortunate incidents in P14, and then I believe the runners from here down did not finish. Jordan Groom, Ollie Stevens, Ty Civilli did not finish. Charlie Miller, who was part of one of the massive crashes there at turn 1, Tucker Drysdale also kind of got sort of involved in a bit of that wreck. Gotham Aussie, another one who just didn't really get going. One of the ones that dropped out quite early, along with Mason Zeidler, my mistake, sorry. Ryan Cox, Tyler Lusk, and Matthew Hewitt, who did not grid.
Yeah, definitely fortunate for a couple drivers out there tonight, and they're going to be wanting to come back next Friday and prove different to all the drivers that down on this tonight. But we knew it would be a bit of carnage tonight, and I'm happy about it, as it was very entertaining to say the least tonight. So there you go, everyone. There was your race round 2 of WIRL, Wallaby iRacing League, as they venture to their iRacing platform for the first time, and this season has really lived up to expectations, hasn't it, so far?
It absolutely has, and round 3 is coming up again, this time next Friday at Snetterton over in England. I think that'll be another really interesting race. There's a couple of corner complexes there that can really get drivers unstuck, so it might be a case of the safety car making a return.
There you go. So Logan in the chat in the last moments, P9, let's go. Yep, very consistent race from him, and one of the last
Well
people
done, buddy.
one of the last people that were on the lead lap. So I think lead lap is definitely a feat to go by from these absolutely rapid drivers at the top of the field. But there you go tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There's your round 2 done and dusted here tonight. And I think it was an absolute banger, and we are signing off.
Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much.
Good night, everyone.